Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. All right, so lately there has been a lot of discussion about whether Medicare for All could be passed through a process of budget reconciliation. Of course, Sanders is the chair, the new chair of the Senate Budget Committee. Now, could this happen? Well, there's a possibility. It's not anywhere near as clear cut as it's being presented, of course. The first thing to keep in mind is that Sanders does not have some rigid control over this process. He is the chair of the Budget Committee, with the Senate evenly split between Democrats and Republicans. Basically, the Budget Committee is also evenly split. So, could this happen? Well, obviously, if it comes up, if it's presented, then first of all, it has to pass the committee. All right. Other than that, we have to take a look at what the budget reconciliation process actually entails. So let's go to that. All right. Now, how has this been used in the past? All right. So policymakers have enacted 21 budget reconciliation bills since 1980. So that's in 39 years. All right. Policymakers used reconciliation to enact major spending cuts during President Reagan's first year in office, several deficit reduction packages during the 1980s and 90s, welfare reform in 1996, which was not a good thing, and the large Bush tax cuts in 2001-2003. More recently, reconciliation was used in 2010 to amend the Affordable Care Act and modify the student loan program, and in 2017 to enlarge tax cuts for the wealthy. Republican majorities have also twice attempted to use the reconciliation process to repeal key elements of the Affordable Care Act. President Obama vetoed the first attempt in 2016, and the second attempt in 2017 failed to pass in the Senate. All right, so how is the process started? Under the Congressional Budget Act, the House and Senate are supposed to adopt a budget resolution each year to establish an overall budget plan and set guidelines for action on spending and revenue. In developing a budget resolution, all right, Congress must decide whether to include reconciliation directives, and if so, whether to use them to implement all or just some of the proposed changes. And by the way, budget resolution cannot be filibustered. All right? So, yeah. Up here, reconciliation is a procedure for enacting some legislation envisioned in a budget resolution. So, let's skip down to here. I'm skipping over a lot of this, and I will put the link to this article in the description of the video. All right, so budget resolution. All right, there will be an opportunity to repeat this process in 2021 since no fiscal year 2021 budget resolution was adopted in calendar year 2020. That would allow Congress to first take up the overdue budget resolution for 2021, use that to generate an initial reconciliation bill, and then take up a budget resolution for 2022, which begins October 1st, 2021, to generate a second reconciliation bill. Under the Budget Act, Congress can revise a budget resolution after adopting it, although it has not done so in decades. So they can make a revision after it has been adopted. In theory, it could use such revision to trigger another reconciliation bill, but this has never been done. When the full House or Senate considers a reconciliation bill, amendments may be offered, but the Congressional Budget Act generally prohibits consideration of any amendment that would cost money, that is, raise spending or cut taxes without fully offsetting the cost. In other words, pay-go. Yeah, you want to know about pay-go? Go look up Nancy Pelosi and pay-go. I know, Jimmy Dore has covered this a number of times. An exception is that in the Senate, an amendment to simply strike a provision is permissible, even if doing so would cost money. So after each chamber adopts a reconciliation bill, blah, 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 if they approve it, the bill goes to the president for signature. If the president vetoes the reconciliation measure, and Congress cannot override the veto if they don't have the votes, that round of the reconciliation process is over. It's done. Replacing the vetoed bill with a new reconciliation bill would require a new budget resolution. So, in the Senate, there are advantages to the procedural process, not subject to filibuster. For a reconciliation bill, however, the Congressional Budget Act limits Senate debate on the bill to 20 hours and limits debate on the subsequent compromise between the House and Senate if it winds up between House and Senate budget committees. All right. Limits debate on the subsequent compromise between the two houses to 10 hours. While the special procedures limit the time for debate, they do not limit the number of amendments that can be offered during the Senate's initial consideration of the bill. As a result, once the 20-hour limit has expired, remaining amendments are considered with little or no debate, a process known as vote-a-rama. You may have heard of this before. In the Senate, any amendments offered to a reconciliation bill must be germane to the bill, which is not usually a requirement for amendments in the Senate. It is usually a requirement in the House. All right, budget limits set in law are more difficult to waive or suspend. These include the statutory pay-as-you-go, pay-go, which essentially requires that all legislation enacted during a session of Congress the prior 9 years taken together not produce a net increase in the budget deficit. If that rule is violated, the law requires automatic spending cuts, sequestration, and non-exempt mandatory programs after the session is over to eliminate the net deficit increase. Language included in a reconciliation bill to exempt spending or tax cut provisions from the Pay-Go Act through emergency designations or other devices would face a supermajority point of order under the Byrd Rule. All right, so I know that's a lot to take in, but all of this means is that there is a process to go through. Just presenting, having one person up there that says they're going to do this doesn't mean it's going to be done. It depends on the entire process, which has to be approved first and foremost by the committee, not by the chair of the committee. Basically, what Sanders' position is that he has a lot of control over what is going to be considered in the budget reconciliation, first and foremost. But whether it gets approved or not, that is a whole different matter. So when you've got all these people in Congress that are receiving huge sums of money from health insurance companies and from drug companies and so forth, then, are they going to vote in favor of Medicare for all, even under pandemic conditions? So far, and then, even after, if it passes the committee process, if it passes the Senate approval process, then it goes to the president. And, Biden has already said that if Medicare for all passes Congress and goes to his desk, that he will veto it. He's already said this. So this is not cut and dried. This does not bypass Congress. This does not bypass the presidential approval process. It'll put people on the record whether they vote for or against it, but if they all vote it down, and it's not even included in the reconciliation process because the committee, opposes having it in there, then it doesn't even go to the president. It doesn't go to, it doesn't go to the Senate for approval. It doesn't go to the president's desk. So when we're talking about all this stuff and acting like this is a promise set in concrete, cut and dried, absolute certainty, then don't think in those terms because it's not. All right. Please be sure and share this video. Discuss these subjects. If you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel, and I will catch you in the next one.